ever think that the podcast has already started on this end of it. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
Yes.
Like, subscribe, comment,
Like, subscribe.
make fun of us.
We're down to nobody. Jeff is at work. Rip.
Busy man.
Busy man. But a special guest will be showing up later in the show for our main topic. A introduction, a Neo Soul 101, if you will, name of the episode, covering D'Angelo's Voodoo and really the genre itself. We have Tia, Purvis' cousin, soon to be part of the, what's the name of the podcast?
Oh, Mild Sauce on 290.
Mild Sauce on 290, very Chicago. So yeah, no, we had a great conversation with her, and that will be at the end of this episode. And now we're just going to run through the news real quick because we have some doozies.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Starting off with the albums. I just wanted to throw this in here. I brought it up earlier, or not earlier, but a couple weeks ago. Playboy Max is a streamer. He's been having a lot of people on. It's a very special experience to be in the studio. Is officially releasing all of the music that they made live on Twitch. You have really big names like Skepta, YT, Lacey Fuchs, Lynn. You have Fred again, who was in the studio with him. Amazing music. Highly recommend when it comes out. And an album that already came out this week, Sava and No ID are back. It has officially released. We have more West Side music.
Yeah, I meant to listen to this to impress you, and then I didn't. I listened to D'Angelo again. But I literally have this saved on Spotify already to be like, I was going to listen to this already.
Yes.
And then I didn't.
But I haven't listened to it either because D'Angelo is that good. But I will be tapping in very soon.
All right.
Singles. The GOAT is back.
You want to say that directly into the camera? Who do you think would win in the beef, him or Drake? Yeah. If it was Nav versus Drake, what would Nav's Euphoria sound like?
Oh boy, I couldn't even tell you. I'm not gonna say.
The world's not ready.
I'm not gonna sell this. I'm not gonna sell this anymore. I understand, but yeah, Nav is back. He's partying with Metro Boomin. The first single to his album next week. I think it's like on my way to Ragsdale or something. I'm excited. I don't care.
I know.
We're not going to review it on the podcast.
We'll see. It might be better than this album. Like,
yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
But that's coming up. Another album that was recently announced. Wale is back. We're here. He's dropping a single tonight called
Forlorn Back.
I believe that's what it's called.
No.
Super excited for that. He's also going to be at the Wisconsin T-Pain tour in Wisconsin that I might go to.
Oh God, that sounds fun. What you got to give me the dates for that?
I'll get you the dates. I'm very excited to see that. Pusha T's gonna be there too.
Oh my God, because we'll talk about it later, but I'm not seeing T-Pain at Lolla, and I really want to see T-Pain.
That's what I'm saying. But yeah, that's coming out soon. We also have the collab of Jack Harlow and Doja Cat. They'll be dropping Just Us. Based off the name, it sounds like it'll be more singly R&B, but
this will be fun. Yeah. It'll be fun, but it'll be pop. I don't know. Go ahead, Jasper.
This is like the trailer park version? Yeah, I'm going to go. This is the trailer park version of Luther.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the other day I was talking about this. When I saw this, I was like, can't believe we've gone. You know who must have been licking his lips the entire time Kendrick was putting Drake in the ground was Jack Harlow, because they're the exact same lane, and suddenly one of them looks a lot better than the other.
Yeah, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah,
play that funky music, white boy.
Yeah.
One of the few white boys in hip hop right now.
I gotta say though, I will always respect him for getting dissed by MGK and then just not doing anything, just like not addressing it, not doing a thing. I will always have respect for Jack Harlow for that.
Just wait till he does a collab with Ian.
No, don't say that. Please.
Then it's done.
I actually have some faith for Jack Harlow, please.
Yeah, like we have to have one.
Yeah, it's not the best one out, but like he's okay.
He's pretty good.
He's doing okay.
Let him be a
Not
little
canceled.
pop guy. Let him be a pop hip hop guy. Like,
Right.
Jack Harlow featuring Ian and Babytron.
stop it. You don't.
It's like, why would you say something so controversial yet so brave?
So brave.
What I am actually happy about, Jack Harlow is not even in that circle, so it'll never.
Yeah, that's not really. Yeah, he's collabing with Doja Cat, someone with much more fans. Like,
Yes. Some other stuff coming out. We have Lil Durk and Janae Aiko dropping "Can't Hide It." This might be a leading single. I'm not confident because I'm pretty sure Lil Durk just announced he's also dropping an album coming up.
what is he in jail?
Lil Durk.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's like a bunch of stuff pending, right? Over like murder. No, Lil Durk had the murder for hire thing.
Yeah,
Jirbo took a plea deal for like credit card fraud or
I
something.
have no idea.
Chicago rap is in shambles. Next, moving on.
Chicago is
Saba is up.
Yes, Saba is up. Some other stuff coming out. Madlib partnering with Bodie James, who refuses to leave the studio. I think he just sleeps there now.
No, I don't think. I think he might be homeless. Like,
just let him crash in the studio.
because he's so good. Like,
Like, we won't charge you to stay at the studio. Just keep making music, man. Like, but yeah, dropping everything designer. Oh man. Another single coming out. Leon Thomas and Chris Brown, which is actually an amazing collaboration. They will be dropping Mutt Remix, which is like the third remix to Mutt, I think. But excited for this, having an older R&B person and a newer R&B person working together. And last but not least, we have Moneybagg Yo. He will be dropping Close the Door. And that's all the music, really. It's a slower week.
Time out. I looked it up. Lil Durk is currently being held, and his new album comes out in 8 days, called Deep Thoughts, featuring an album cover of him sitting in a prison cell, and it's like him facing away from the camera. So,
okay,
new Lil Durk album releasing from, I think it's technically jail. I don't know if it's like how
if
they
it pre-charges
classify it.
jail, post-charges prison. I think you're correct.
Oh, it's post charges, but it's pre-trial, I think.
Okay.
Well, you conviction. I think it's a post-conviction is prison. It's like
okay.
after your
Yeah, 'cause-
trial, you go to prison. Before that,
Yeah,
you're in
he's-
jail.
Yeah, he's been arrested, and
Yikes.
yeah,
Not fun.
Yeah, I'll send a link in the random or in the new music.
Okay, but the actual news, we do have a lot of stuff going on. As we mentioned last week, it is officially festival season.
Yeah.
We have gotten the Dreamville lineup, some big names like Lil Wayne, which is super exciting.
Part of a Hot Boys reunion.
And we also have what's up?
Part of a Hot Boys reunion too.
Yeah, the Hot Boys reunion, which seemed like Jeff brought that up, right?
Yeah,
Jeff's really
that's a
excited.
huge deal. Like a Hot Boys reunion is crazy, and like I think the kind of thing that would make a Lil Wayne performance more exciting.
Yes, that is very true. Then we also have the Lolla lineup. We finally got the release and the day breakdown.
Yeah,
I bought a Sunday ticket.
yeah. I have tickets for Saturday and Sunday. Saturday we had to go see Doechii. There just isn't. Rachel's already looking at matching hair, like there was no way I didn't
Been decided.
go
yeah.
that day. And then Sunday I want to see ASAP Rocky really bad. I want to see ASAP and Isaiah
Yes.
Rashad really, really bad. So
That's why I
I'm
bought
there
it.
Sunday.
Yeah, we'll be there Sunday. Come find us. Come say
Yeah.
hi.
I think
I'm
it's
also selling a Sunday ticket.
yeah,
Shameless plug.
solid lineup. Love that Tyler's back, even though he's gonna be in town like less than a month before. But I guess he's making it up for last year. I think that's very cool. I'm not gonna pay to go see it, but I think it's very cool. Like,
Agreed.
and yeah, I think it's a very solid lineup. I think it's personally like last year. It was so like I thought the lineup was so stacked that we went all 4 days. I don't think it's that good, but it's very pop heavy.
It is.
And I don't think that's a bad thing, but I'm excited for the few days we're going to be there.
Yeah, it should be fun.
And Dreamville, I think, is good, but I think Jeff brought this up, which, by the way, rip Jeff for not being on this episode. But the Dreamville, I think, is good, like on its own. I think the fact that it's the last one, maybe I think that could put people's expectations higher. But then again, I don't think the Hot Boys is nothing. I think that's a pretty cool get.
I can't believe they couldn't even get Martin Luther King.
God. 1 month after Black History Month in Europe.
And I'm referencing things J. Cole said, what is it, 11
but
years
he
ago.
can.
Oh, okay. That was good. I'm not going to lie.
Thank you, Purvis.
Allow it. I don't care. Allow
it. Oh, but I say I'm going to get an Ankh necklace and everyone.
Martin Luther King. You couldn't get Martin Luther King to be on Dreamville for one fucking night.
And that really was a wild line when you really think about it.
Yeah,
it is.
He'll be sampled in the next Revenge of the Dreamers. That's what's going to happen.
I'm going to say it's like, hey, it's almost like someone was feeling like a bit of a false prophet or something. I don't know. Hypocrisy is running deep in this episode.
God, we'll get back to that. Do we want to get to the main news story?
Oh boy.
Well, Carti actually dropped last week. We did not think it was going to happen on Thursday night, but it did. He threatened to drop music, and allegedly he did.
It took the whole night. It came out in the morning.
I still think that counts. That counts as dropping on time.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I will say, I think as long as it drops the date, I think it counts. Does not have to be ready at 11 p.m. I think it's indicative of how low quality this album is. That something that has been teased for 4 or 5 years was still being put together at 11 p.m. the night before. But now it's because I don't want to start because I am the known Carti hater, and I just feel like I'm just taking my victory lap a little bit.
Not a victory lap, damn.
Well,
no. I think this is probably a good place to start. Actually, you go ahead, and then we'll tell you why you're right.
Yeah. Well, no. The thing is that because and I said this to Purvis while you didn't have your headphones in. And I know you're going to disagree with me on this, but it's I listened to this project. I could not get all the way through it. I got through as much as I did just because my favorite rapper of all time is on it. And it was just noise. I do fuck with the energy on the first song, right? Pop out. I do kind of, it's not for me. It's not the kind of music I enjoy, but at least I could fuck. Because I don't like his self-titled, I don't like Die Lit. But I can acknowledge that those are well-crafted projects, right?
Sure.
And Pop Out kind of reminds me of that era, right? Where it's still not for me. It's still not something I'm going to listen to on my own accord or, to keep it real, even enjoy. But this one was just very meandering, right? It seemed very uncohesive. And I was talking to Purvis and it was right before you got in, and it's I didn't even like this as much as I liked Whole Lot of Red, and I literally don't have anything good to say about the Whole Lot of Red, right? I think the only thing I could say about Whole Lot of Red that is a positive, I don't think is and this feels just it is not, because Whole Lot of Red was at least innovative, right? It was at least a brand new sound. My thing is that I don't think innovation is a good thing inherently. And I think this is innovative in this same way that Drake was innovative, right? I think a Whole Lot of Red was innovative in that it made it much easier to package and consume a subgenre of hip hop for an audience that was not partaking in it previously, right? Which is, I don't like anything that just furthers the point of further commercializing this subgenre. I like that it stays something special, kind of calling back, but I guess to the people, foreshadowing our conversation about neo soul.
Yeah, I was literally about to say that.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I think like neo soul gets to have an identity like that because like there isn't this, it's not the ultra hot commodity, right? And I think Playboy Carti is not the only person who has helped turn hip hop into a commodity, but I think Whole Lot of Red was a huge step in that direction and defined how hip hop would become a commodity, sold to the people who did not participate into it until very recently. Like, so yeah, but at least there is creative energy there. At least there is innovation, right? Like, I can at least acknowledge that sound was new and absolutely has influenced a ton of artists to come after it. But this, I mean, to quote our comrade who's not here, like, I couldn't finish it because I didn't understand what he was saying.
Yeah.
And like, it just feels like Die Lit, self-titled, those had direction, those had like structure. It just was a style I was just not into. Whole Lot of Red, I feel like lost a lot of that structure and I think was pushed forward just through raw creative force. This has neither of those things. This has features. And to be honest with you, with the exception of The Weeknd, I think most of them are not that good. Like, I think the Kendrick verse on Good Credit is a bad blood tier Kendrick verse. Right? This is as good. This is as good as the verses he was giving Taylor Swift, right?
That is one that I complained about specifically to Purvis, where I basically said, this is the 4th time I have heard the flow to Euphoria reused in the last calendar year.
See, I don't even necessarily care about that because like artists reuse their flows all the time, but like but yeah, like it was just like very derivative. And like there has been a conversation I'm sure we're going to get to eventually about like what does Kendrick's inclusion on this mean, right? And like part of me is like, it means he was trying to collect a fucking paycheck from a label that was starving to put out a half-finished project and we're willing to dump a truck, like a dump truck full of money on his front yard. Like I really do, like, because it is like that level of quality. This is not even the level Kendrick would give fucking, I don't know, like Future.
Any of his other
anyone else that he collabs with previously. Like this has nowhere near the energy he had on Hillbillies.
And it's crazy because he's in the album multiple times.
Yeah, and I think
it wasn't.
Yeah, because Good Credit is the one where he has like an actual verse.
Yes,
but like, he's not
verses.
Right. Like, which once again, like his multiple inclusions just leads me to believe that they, like, the label like kind of forced this out because I think that they were at the point where they would have to start making returns on pre-orders if the album didn't come out.
30 songs.
Yeah, right. And that's the other thing is that like, it's completely unfocused. It's 30 songs long, right? Like, now listen, is there absolutely the argument that like, yeah, but you could cut 7, like I've heard some people like say in defense of this album, like, oh, you could cut 7 songs out and make it like a cool little EP. I'm like, too little, too late, right? It's one thing when you're like, oh, I could cut 20 songs out of a 30 song project and make a good album out of it. That's one thing. But like, if we're talking 6 or 7, which I don't know what you two, I mean, me and Jasper did talk about what he thought about the album before the episode, but like, I don't know how many songs you like. I know Purvis like 3 or 4. That is just
I'm
not
in the same boat.
Yeah. That is like just not a success rate that can possibly be used for the argument that this album has any redeeming factor. Right. And like, listen, I also think if you're into this kind of thing, I'm sure that there are some really solid ingredients in here. Some beats that could have been stitched together differently and made into something really good. Sure. I definitely do not disagree with that point. But like, I think we need to judge it for like what was turned in and not what it could have been. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if you turn in a homework assignment and you make, like a history paper or an English paper and you make really good arguments, but your grammar is really bad enough to knock you down 3 whole letter grades or 2 whole letter grades or whatever. I don't know. I didn't do well in school, right? You don't just get the teacher's not just going to pretend that you got an A because the content was there, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to mark you off for the mistakes you did make, right? So, yeah, like to me, this seems like the logical conclusion to Carti. I'm not going to sit here and pretend, though, that this is just how this is how all of his albums were before this. Right? I'm going to at least acknowledge that there was degradation here. Right? It's not like, oh, Carti was always this ass. It's like, I agree, but like there is like less here than there was before. And another thing about Whole Lotta Red, it has like that pop out level energy the entire time. This just doesn't. Like there's several, like at least one Little Uzi Vert song that says a Little Uzi Vert song. Like he's not even on it. Right. And like I heard some people say like, oh, that's an interlude. I'm like, yeah, from what to what?
Yeah, define what an interlude is.
Right? Like, yeah, like I feel like in order for something to be an interlude, you have to be like, okay, from what to what? Like that's what like,
that's what an interlude is, right?
Right? Like if this was a tightly constructed project, I absolutely do not care if artists have like a song that they're not on that fits the flow of the project. But yeah, so that's me. I'm the Carti hater. So
Jasper, go.
No, you go ahead.
No.
No. You go ahead before I go for the jugular.
Okay.
Who's jugular?
This fucking garbage project. Go ahead.
And also the fact that it's named music.
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't think there's
we'll get to that.
Yeah, because I don't think there's any getting around the fact that Carti seems to think he's reinventing music when in reality all he did was make a subgenre whose popularity I think has been greatly overinflated because it's profitable, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me coming into this album I had very low expectations. I didn't know what to expect. Matter of fact, I didn't think it was going to drop. I think I put $10 down that it wasn't going to drop. But it did eventually come out. The first time listening to it, one thing I wanted to point out was you saying ingredients. That's honestly was my approach to the album. Was like, okay, there's 30 tracks. Let me find the parts. Like I just need to build something together. Jasper and I talked on the phone about it a couple of days ago. I don't know if you remember how we treated For All the Dogs, where we like literally broke down and got rid of half the songs and was like, this is how it's probably supposed to sound, and you can reorder it where it sounds a little bit better.
Yeah.
Not great.
I think about Scorpion, which like,
that too,
I admit like it's not an amazing album, but like it's a 30-some track album, and it's like, yeah, like this could have been a good 17-track album.
Yes. We can't do that with this album. I couldn't even do it if I tried. I got through it 2.5 times. It felt forced. The Weeknd song, amazing. From both of them.
An amazing Weeknd feature.
The Weeknd is in his bag right now. It's his year. I don't think anyone's going to take it. And even Carti on that song specifically was clearly putting in more effort. It wasn't great. It was more effort.
Isn't that one of the songs? And that brings us to a whole other layer. But wasn't that one of the AI songs?
I'm not sure.
I think it was.
I really don't know.
Yeah.
Add the layer of AI. There's so much that comes into the album that's bad. There's literally 2 or 3 songs that I would actually choose to go back and listen to. It was pissing me off because there's so many parts where I was like, man, you're right there. But like, no, I just can't. I can't accept it. I can't allow it. Brandon can attest to this. When Whole Lotta Red came out, I hated it on launch day. Absolutely hated it. I grown to love it. I understand the vision he had behind it. even though the subgenre that he created has very negative things about it, various negative things, it was still like interesting and good. Like I was excited.
It was
for it to
creative.
sound right, and it was something that I can get behind, even if it wasn't something that like was in my daily music diet. It was still nice to go back and be like, you know what, I'm gonna listen to this. This is not it. It's really not it, and it's really annoying me.
Okay,
And
so
I feel disrespected.
so do you think there are going to be any percentage of fans who kind of have the same arc you had with Whole Lotta Red about this? Because like I saw a lot of that. I saw a lot of people who told me,
You just gotta listen to
listen,
this some more.
Right, and it's like I
I
don't
see
want to
that
dig
everywhere.
myself out of a hole, right? Because listen, when Whole Lotta Red dropped, I got quite a few "you were right about Carti" text, right? And I think one from you, and like,
No.
and
I definitely did admit that I hated it though.
yeah, you called it "Whole Lotta Ass," and that made me laugh. I was having a bad Christmas, and you made me feel better with it. Like you hated that album so thoroughly, it kind of made a bad Christmas a little bit better. Like.
I remember people were calling it a whole lot of mid when it came out.
Yeah.
Very disappointing.
Yeah. So it's like
anyway.
Jasper.
Jasper.
Is it me? All right. This is gonna read
because I think
like,
you're the biggest Playboy Carti fan on the podcast.
Probably the biggest.
I would say I'm an enthusiast. I think I've seen him more times also. This is gonna come across as like his hair whack, his jewelry whack. Dude, this album is bad. And I say that as someone who really enjoyed a Whole Lotta Red out of the gate. I thought that it was really an interesting directional change. And I thought it was something that was like new and interesting at the time. This album completely just like abandons the sense of identity that was set up through Whole Lotta Red. And like it or not, there's a sound and a creative element there, Brandon, that you kind of alluded to that like has really stuck around. Like the whole King Vamp persona, everything that plays into that was like it was a very kind of set and clear brand almost. And in like one fell swoop and 5 years later, that is completely gone. And this is like, this album, it's incredible to me. It's like he's gone maybe 3 for 30 on this. There are bad features. Yeah, there are bad features from like very well-known, very successful artists all over this thing. Most of the features are, I think, terrible. All of the Travis ones, barring one, are basically unusable or just like, they feel like nothing. This thing is mixed fucking terribly. Like the amount of like wall of sound that is happening here, and it's just too much dissonance, and it's like too much going on to the point where you have interesting instrumentation, a Whole Lotta Red that comes through clearly and makes this look like some amateur, like sophomore dorm room project.
Pretending to be a Whole Lotta Red.
Yeah, and I said it in the group chat, like, speaking of layering, the fact that we've got, like, other producers coming in and, like, just jumping on shit. Fucking DJ Swamp Izzo. We got budget fucking DJ Drama before GTA 6. His inclusion all over this thing makes it that much fucking worse. I fucking hate all of those ad-libs.
I have way higher of a threshold for DJ Drama, and I fucking hate it. It's like...
Me too. And so we're at the point where what is this album if not complete erosion of the Playboy Carti brand as it has been built? Like, where do you go from here? And yeah, you're going to get a bunch of 16-year-olds who are going to rage to it at whatever festival you book for 7 figures next. But as an album, as a cohesive body of work, it is nothing. It is less than nothing. It is like, these are going to hit when the bass is cranked up and it's really big at a festival. Great. But other than that, like as an album, this is like the most phoned in thing I can possibly think of. And on top of that, it's just so fucking frustrating because you've got Travis on it like 4 or 5 times. You've got Kendrick 3 or 4 times. Even those features can't save anything. And the mismanagement of it all. Lil Uzi Vert has that interlude. There's a song called Philly, which has Travis on it. Why don't you have the artist from Philly who you've had a career defining songs with on the song called fucking Philly?
And
It
it's
doesn't.
supposed to be a big deal. It's Lil Uzi Vert. Everybody has been talking about y'all two need to make music again, and it was a
Yes.
whole narrative behind it. Now
Yes.
y'all come back.
It's pathetic. I think this is like the worst thing you could possibly deliver as, you know, as someone who built such an identifiable brand around a subgenre that you helped define in its early days. And like
He
it also
created,
brings up
like, to be honest with you,
Created, yeah.
I honestly think you're like, don't get me wrong, I work in advertising. I get like the value of a personal brand, and like Playboy Carti
Yeah.
certainly fucking has one, right?
yeah.
I think his brand has been eroding for a long, long time, but
Sure.
he created that subgenre.
Yes.
Like just
Yeah.
whole cloth, right? Like there is like without Playboy Carti's, without Whole Lotta Red, there just wouldn't be Yeet. Like
So many
Yeah.
things.
Maddox would be
Kid
making
Larson.
YouTube videos about gaming systems or some shit, right? Like this whole movement ceases to exist without Playboy Carti. And like
Summer Smash wouldn't even be the same.
like
Yeah.
like that entire the aesthetic, right? Because like I think a big telltale sign that this genre had like a shelf life for me is like one, the artists that influenced it were barely participating into it. Like Future, huge influence on Playboy Carti. On this project, he doesn't make rage music, right?
No.
Travis Scott, huge influence. Maybe there's a rage song here or there. Maybe you could say Fiend, but he's not a rage artist, right?
No.
So I don't even like the thing is like, and this is not me saying like, oh, this means Kendrick should not have been on this project. I don't think that whatsoever. But like to me, I don't look at Playboy Carti and see an immediate Kendrick influence. You know,
Sure, yeah.
like
Absolutely.
period. But like, and like I'm seriously wondering now, how much shelf life could this genre have if like the artist who created it by himself can't follow up the seminal text, right?
Well,
now
I wanted to
listen,
Yeah.
and we'll let you go on the whole way, but there has been other great rage albums, right? Like I liked 2093 way more than Whole Lotta Bread,
Yeah.
right? So there clearly could have been a second good rage album, or in my opinion, a first. But like, if Playboy Carti himself can't even keep that movement going, how much hope? Like, what is Summer Smash going to sound like in 3 years?
Yeah.
I do
Yeah,
see your
and
point. Yeah.
that's something I was thinking about when I was listening to this, because aside from just Playboy Carti being the pioneer behind this, what led to the rage sound existing, right? And I was thinking about it and I said, okay, well, the rage sound is or the entire subgenre is reactionary, right? And it came about in late 2020, early 2021, and in large part it's a youthful expression and frustration against rules and regulations, the pandemic, lockdown, things like that. It was reactionary to a lot of these things, and once those things started to lift, it was like a freedom of expression type, almost like a punk anti-establishment, in the sense of it's the just like this like youth oriented subgenre for like a modern group of people who use TikTok. Now, given that those lockdowns and COVID and all those things don't exist in 2025, right? What is rage music reacting to? What is it in protest of, right? I think that's another point we need to make. And that is that reactionary music is always going to have a shelf life so long as what it's reacting to no longer exists or no longer has teeth.
Right.
And I think in that sense, rage is just going to become an aesthetic and a sound, but it's never going to have the significance that it did when it was pioneered.
It's
Yeah.
already, even from the start, it already is an aesthetic. Most of the things that you think about culturally are surrounding, let's just say, Summer Smash. It's based on the aesthetic. What you see there, how they act, their character, the way they talk,
the dress,
it's meant to portray a certain persona.
Yeah.
And those are inspired by other genres as well. You see like a lot of kind of like early 2000s like emo influence and things like that.
Yeah.
But
where are they now?
Pop punk, stuff like that. Yeah. But it's also just like the the true attitude of like what the music, I guess, exemplifies
Yeah.
that isn't there anymore. That attitude is gone,
Yeah.
or it's dissolved, diluted at least.
And because honestly, I agree with so much of what you're saying. I thought you were going to go a very different way when you say it's like reactionary, because I agree it's reactionary, but I'm going, because to me, I think rage, a lot of it is like, it is an attempt to be more trap than trap. It is like just a more condensed version of trap. Not condensed, but like concentrated.
Yeah.
And
At least this version, yeah.
well, at least like the Playboy Carti, like
Yeah,
you know, like the inception points.
Sure. I mean, a whole lot of Red is very metalcore, but yeah.
It has like, I'm not saying it doesn't have elements from other things. I'm just saying like, I think like at a base sonic aesthetic level, because I think the only part of the thing that I'm going to nitpick is like, I don't like, I see the temptation to compare rage to punk.
Yeah.
But I think the difference is that rage is based on the aesthetic of like raging, and punk is based on like the actual like resistance, right? Like punk comes from like punk is as much of a political movement as it is like a musical movement, and you can't say the same thing about rage, right?
Well, that's
like,
what I was trying to say, in that it's like there's no true systemic, resistance to anything. It's just it's a shell of what punk was.
Yeah, it's the aesthetic of it, and it certainly has that aesthetic, but it is just like, where does it? It really does feel like this is going to be the day that I don't want to say like the day that subgenre dies, because like the second there's another 2093, like we will have to reevaluate that. But like,
Sure.
It is just it does seem like a canary in the coal mine. The fact that like Playboy Carti himself, and to me it seems obvious, like it doesn't seem like the dude likes making music.
No.
Right?
Playboy
And like,
Carti's almost 30.
and like, exactly. Like like the other thing is that like, I wonder if this is a thing that you age out of to a certain extent. Like
That's another thing.
Right? Like, I don't think Run the Jewels could make rage music. Like,
speaking of aging out, Purvis and I were talking about this. I was like, when Whole Lotta Red came out, we were like 23, 24. Our frontal lobes have finished developing since then. So like, yeah, you age out, you inherently age out of this sound, I think, generally, or like this aesthetic generally. Like, I feel too old to go to Summer Smash.
And I'm old, like the first time we went, I was older than you are. Like,
I know. Yes. And it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, Carti's going to have to do something about declining birth rates if he's going to keep up a fan base, because people are going to keep aging out.
Yeah. But the thing is that like, it doesn't seem like he even wants to deliver for those people. Right. Like,
no, he doesn't.
Like, once again, like, I don't consider myself a Carti fan. Like, you guys can't feel too great about this. Like,
no, I mean, it's, you live and die by your latest work.
Well.
Yeah.
I feel like, don't get me wrong, as a pioneer, like he was a pioneer for this genre, it is a very telling thing that he can't keep it up, as he's like the original person.
Because like,
but at the same time, like, if you think about Carti, and if you are actually a true fan of an artist and not just the music that he creates, you can see this coming. It's not out of character for him. It doesn't seem like he enjoys making this music. If he does, he wouldn't release a 30.
This album wouldn't exist in the way it does.
That aren't good.
Right. And
he would take the time to make that correct out.
Right. And it's like, there's a whole lot of other things, right? I think we should do we want to pivot to the Kendrick of it all?
Quickly, yes. Let's do it. We already talked about it a little bit.
Well,
what are your thoughts then?
Well, like, because it seems to be the discussion, like, it seems like to be like the preeminent discussion around this project outside of like the reception of the project itself is like, it's a little weird that Kendrick is even on this project considering all of 2024, right? And like, listen, I want to just point out something. One, I think we really need to decouple the idea that like your consumption reflects your attitudes, right? Like, I think that's a bad mindset, and I am starting to, like, I just don't think that's a standard anyone can live up to. Like, I don't think if you're listening to Drake right now, you condone everything Drake does, right? I think we need to move past this idea that like you can only consume ethically pure art if you want to be ethically pure yourself. Like I think we need to get away from that. And even if I did, I would not stop listening to Kendrick over this. Right? I listened to GNX 4 times this week. Like but like to me, it just did rub me the wrong way that like, you know, he spent last year running someone to filth over being a deadbeat dad, over the way he treats women, and then turns around and makes several songs with Playboy Carti, going so far as to call him your evil twin. Like, and like, I'm not going to take that too seriously, but it does just like, I just want to know, like, is this universe? Because there is like a divide. There are people who are like, no, like he is not a hypocrite at all. And I'm like, okay, like, I just wanted to know if anyone else, I had watched a really bad debate about it, which is some really bad thinking. And I just want to confirm that none of us are that stupid.
Yeah, it's silly. I mean, it's the same as when Dua Lipa, who is like a beacon of hope for I think a lot of kind of like queer music communities and is like very very allied, went and did music with Pop Smoke, who was known even for when 2019, I think 2018 2019 was known for like some like homophobic language. And it's like, yeah, you do in a sense. On the one hand, I think it's music and it's never needs to be that deep or that serious until it becomes it because beef gets taken too far. But on the other hand, yeah, like if you have a brand and you have a moral code, stick to it. And in Kendrick's case, he's spent his entire career kind of defining that for us through multiple albums.
Yeah.
And ones that are like cemented in history as like some of the greatest examples of hip hop ever.
Right.
So to turn around on that is just
yeah. And like he even had like an interview with SZA like months ago where he talks about like how like no, like Not Like Us is about that, like I am a man with morals. And it's like it's not a great look. I know some people compare it to like the Kodak Black inclusion on Mr. Morale. And like, I'm not going to sit here and act like Kodak Black is not pretty much exactly as bad as Playboy Carti. He is. But like, at least there was a fucking point to it. Right? Like
point being, if he could have gotten X, he would have.
Yeah, I mean, God, and that's even worse. Like that is even worse than Playboy Carti in my opinion. But like, well, like my point being, like in Mr. Morale, like he's making the point of like, hey, you're willing to have the empathy for black people going through trauma when they're Kendrick Lamar, the person whose teachers talk about how good he was in school, are you going to have the same empathy for someone like Kodak Black, right? And like, you can make that point without having someone who's sexually assaulted someone. Like, Chief Keef has all that baggage and none of those allegations. And like, you could, those artists exist. But like, at least there's a point to it. And like, I think if there was a point to like his inclusion on this album, like some point he was making, it would have sat.
There's no point to the album.
And that's the thing, right? Is that like so it really just does come down to like, oh, is he just like a fan of Playboy Carti?
I mean, I don't know. It's tough. I can only speak about my own experience. Even like when I consume music, I don't think about the artist in that sense. Especially this form of music, because it's not meant to be taken to that level, I would say.
Right, but so I think Kendrick's is. So once he's on it,
it engages like another level of critical thinking.
You're right. You got to like that's the thing, right? Is that like and like it really is, to me, it is like the specificity of it, right? It's not like he makes a song with Future and it's like, oh, he's misogynistic. It's like, okay, well, that's a completely different thing. It's like, no, like this is a deadbeat dad. Like
Yeah, I mean, it's the same as like the they're playing chess in the Kendrick Lamar mosh pit. It's like there's going to be a different level of view of that based on like what is the cross section of people who will listen to Playboy Carti and who are Kendrick fans, and what is their takeaway going to be, right?
Right. That's
Because
the other thing is that like,
Their take is gonna be,
yeah,
as
like
an artist,
like why?
yeah,
I mean,
as an
to
artist,
be
you open.
fair- Okay, go ahead, Jasper.
I was gonna say you open yourself to the perception of the people who engage with your music,
Mhm.
and in that sense, it's like if you from in Kendrick's mind, like what is the purpose of a feature like this in is it taking his fans and making them listen to Playboy Carti? Because if so, like what are the takeaways for like longtime Kendrick fans or something like this, aside from even just like all the morality components of this? Like, it's just what is the purpose here?
Right.
I think in terms of asking like what's the purpose or why, for me personally, and this is just my takeaway, it's much more obvious that this is intended for Playboy Carti friends to listen to Kendrick than vice versa. Because a Kendrick fan, I'm not gonna say everyone, I would say some Kendrick fans are not gonna just jump up and go listen to Playboy Carti. It's much more likely that the fan base that seems to be fabricated already of a subgenre that's just abused for money is
Yeah.
going to jump to listen to the biggest artist that just had the biggest year of all time.
Right.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, and this is gonna seem crazy, but I feel like the fact that the verses are, in my opinion, so half-hearted, like it does lead me to believe that this was a money move. Like this is not even him endorsing Playboy Carti. This is him, honestly, like, and probably comparison to like the Black Panther project, where he was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna take this money and try and turn this around as much as I can." Right, and it's like
I hate that album.
Three songs.
the Black
It's on
Panther
3 songs.
soundtrack.
I don't like it. I mean, there's some really bright spots, but overall, it's not something I go back to.
Oh
No.
god.
Okay.
I
Oh,
like
yeah.
what I like. All right.
But yeah, no, it seems like this was just like one of the biggest. This is probably the biggest story in hip hop so far this year. Is like music.
I mean, not a lot has happened, to be fair.
Not a lot has happened, but like it's
The
been
weekend.
yeah, technically not hip
Can
hop.
I gotta say one other thing. I know you both enjoyed the song with the weekend. All right.
Mhm.
My take on that, and I think I'm being even more like being a harsher critic because I enjoy other Cardi more so. That song, if I were Cardi and I appeared on Timeless with the weekend, which is such a great song, and Brandon, we talked about it, like the reason that is like even a good Cardi feature is because he's actually rapping.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
And
like that
then-
feature.
and-
I was coming in
I know.
on my first
Yeah.
good Cardi feature.
Yeah, I remember. So that's what I'm saying. It's like when you put out a feature that's that good on another artist's project that is that good of a song, that's a fucking earworm. So like you're halfway through the album. This is like the first start of side B basically, and it picks the energy right back up, and it's like charting and whatever. If it were me, I would be so fucking embarrassed to put out that song that's on music with the weekend because it's nowhere near as good as the song that they just did together. And Cardi's performance is so lackluster comparatively. It's like clearly people who are listening to a Cardi album have heard the weekend featuring Cardi because they hunt down the Cardi features when they come out, right? So it's like
Yeah.
you're creating this point of comparison for your audience that just shows off the worst of everything that you're putting on this project. You're weaker lyrically. The feature from the weekend is not as good as the weekend's performance on his own song, and it's on an album that's not going to get anywhere near the amount of love because it's 30 songs and bloated and full of trash. It's just like, I think even if it is a brighter spot on the album, it's embarrassing, and it's like something that shouldn't have happened.
I agree fully. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Wait, so
I'm
you're saying
so-
it shouldn't have happened? You would have
No.
taken it out?
I would have taken it out. It's embarrassing. It's like you put your best
this
work on
song
somebody
was
else's.
But it is like one of the best songs on the album, though.
It's the best
Like,
song, and
no,
it's
I
actually a good
completely
song.
agree
Right,
with
but that's
Jasper
saying
calling it
something- That's
embarrassing.
saying something bad about it.
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, like, it's a good song though. Like, it's actually a good song.
It
See,
should've just
I
been a
don't think it's a
single. I
good
don't think
song.
a
I think it's
song.
one of the best songs on the album. I think that's a distinction.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's
like-
it's not even good comparatively to the thing they just put out together that got radio play and charted and like all this other good stuff.
Maybe it is because it's eroded by trash, but I think Rather Lie is like an actual good song. But that's
I'd
just,
have to re-listen to
Yeah.
it, but when I heard it, I was like, "This sucks! Like, this is so much worse than what they just put out together."
It was also allegedly like apparently another layer of this, and I feel like a lot of this just adds to the tapestry of Playboy Carti is that like apparently a rather lie was like AI, like it was some guy.
it's one of them that is AI.
Yeah. No,
I don't know.
not the version that we got. It was last minute they changed it, and the same thing happened with Timeless. Like Timeless, like a demo came out, and it was a guy
Yeah.
doing an AI. It was the guy who wrote the verse for Cardi because he doesn't write his verses, which is insane because most of them are barking. Like he, dude,
They're
it's
trying
what
to be
it,
crazy.
it's what it fucking sounds like. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But like it was some guy who wrote his verse using AI to sound like Cardi as like a demo, like
Right.
you know
The
what I
demo
mean?
tape, you know.
Yeah, a demo tape
It's big in
version of
hip-hop.
it, and he would go in and do his vocals later. And apparently,
Yeah.
they did end up getting his real vocals on Timeless. Apparently, like
The Weeknd
this
was
one
not
had
going.
leaked. Yeah,
The Weeknd was like, you better
Yeah.
go with some
and it does like just
The Weeknd,
you know. I think a lot of people
The
have
Weeknd
given.
was
Weeknd
not
said,
going.
"Bring him to me."
Yeah.
Bring him to me now,
Right.
Neil.
If you want to be on this album, you better step it up.
But the Weeknd's
Yes.
bringing him on tour.
Yes, he is.
God,
Yes.
I hope this album is because like it does not seem like
God,
it has
we're
been
gonna
well
see Cardi.
received.
No.
I just realized that.
Yeah.
I forgot he's gonna be on tour.
And I think another thing
Yeah.
is that I feel like a lot of people, because they liked the first two Cardi albums and then Whole Lot of Red, I feel like there's been like, because he cancels a bunch of shows, he delays music, he delayed Whole Lot of Red a shit ton of times.
Yes,
Like-
he did. Yeah.
I think like a lot of people had the idea that like, oh, he's doing this because he has like this air of mystery around him and he's like this mysterious figure and he's like cultivating this energy. And it's like, no, he just doesn't give a shit. Like it just seems like, and to be honest with you, like this is ultimately comes down to like why I like to keep people's things they do to make money, to get a bag outside of hip hop. I like to keep it separate because like I mentioned how I thought Whole Lot of Red was just like a thing that ultimately just commercialized the genre so much more. And it's like, you know, that creative energy was that Cardi's legitimate, like, oh, I think this is a really cool sound, I'm going to make it. And then the industry turns it into this. Or was he doing it to be commercialized in the first place? We have no idea. We have no way of knowing. Right.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's another reason why the Skender thing is so frustrating is because like we think we know where he stands.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, either way, it's been a rough week for the Dylans of the world.
Yeah.
And, you know, hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully somebody makes music in this subgenre that is worth a
To
damn.
give him something.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Rolling Loud set list. 25 of the songs out of 35 was from this album. I would have been upset.
yeah, I'm gonna be walking into Soldier Field late. Then again, so is Playboy Carti. So what does that matter? Like,
I'll say 2 hours, give or take.
yeah, I mean, like I'm willing to bet, like, and I would have said this before this album. I'm willing to bet he might not even show up. Like,
Yeah.
Are we the first stop?
I don't know.
We're not the first stop, right?
No, I don't think so.
Anyway.
All right, but that's it for I Am Music. We're not gonna give it a formal review because
We're done.
yeah,
What does Fantano do? He just puts out a video where it's like, this blank album
Not
is
good.
bad.
yeah.
Or is not good. Yeah, the not
we
good.
we just
not
we,
good.
we have a policy of like we don't want to be negative, we want to be critical, and like it just felt like that would be impossible to do in a full-fledged review, so we thought we would give the full floor to Tia and Voodoo this week.
Coming up, much better album.
Yeah.
that
Do we have any more news to talk about? Like,
I mean,
we already talked about the
Cactus
Erykah Badu thing. Cactus
Jack.
Jack Boys 2 is coming.
Yeah, so that was nice. Oh, I mean, if we want to bring it up, Kanye technically dropped Bully.
Did he? I
No
never
one
even heard this.
He put it out on Twitter or Instagram or something, and he put out 3 versions, which is like the first
course
version, post something. It was a link to a music video. His son's in it. It's just incomplete music. He also put out a full list of people that betrayed him.
Do you think if you take music, Playboy Carti's music, and Bully, and they like Super Saiyan, they make a full album, like a complete album? Because I do.
Dude, he's been talking so much shit about Carti, talking so much shit about Kendrick.
Even Carti said, "Shut the fuck up."
Kid, like mentally disabled, and deleted it immediately because
that's nuts.
Dude, yeah. All I'm saying is this, Mr. Lamar, if you release Meet the West,
I'll give you my life.
I will give you my soul. Like,
I think Kendrick needs to take a page out of Drake's playbook for just one time and release an album called Donda 3. Just like how he did the heart part 6 or whatever it is.
Oh my god, I can't believe you're right.
I don't want Kendrick to take this route.
Hey, Kendrick taught me all problems in life can be overcome by becoming a bigger hater.
Hating is what we do.
He's so short because he's so close to hell. He hates people so much.
Listen, to quote,
he's just closer to hell than the rest of us.
To quote another person that Kanye hates, 5 a.m, I'm hating on shit. 10 p.m, I'm hating on shit.
All True, right. That's wild. That's a wild the turnaround from 2019 to now. Who would have thought, man?
Well,
on that sad note,
we have a wonderful album to talk about. The conversation with Tia is like one of the best we've ever had. So we should just like let that roll, given this. So we're recording. Purvis, do you want to walk us into this?
Yeah, of course. Hello, everyone. Obviously, we start off with like, subscribe, comment, make fun of us.
This is the middle. You don't have to worry about that. We'll do this later.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It doesn't even matter now.
Yeah, we're time traveling.
The classic movie magic. But we have a new face here, everyone. This is my cousin-in-law, Tia. Tia, say hello. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Yes. We've been planning this for...
Ever.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's on me. Not gonna lie. No blame on me. Yeah, we've been talking about doing this for a while. Tia is up and coming, possibly to make her own podcast. Mouth Sauce on 290. I think it's a fantastic name.
It's a really good name.
That's it. Thanks. I need that confirmation. Thanks.
Yeah. Yes. I think this will be a good flow into the podcast world. But yeah, basically what we're gonna do. This week we're going to be talking about neo soul, something that I'll be honest, I don't have a lot of experience in, but Tia's an expert.
Yeah. So, and it is like kind of funny because I think we've been talking about doing the neo soul dive since the early days of this show, right? And it's very funny because like I would say like my only experience with the genre is a different album by the artist that we're covering this week, but that's like really it. Like I don't have a whole So
I have almost no experience, but I guess just to start off, why'd you pick this album? Like, what's up with Voodoo? I want to know the history behind it.
Voodoo is epic. I think a lot of people would say like, Voodoo is, you go by here and say, oh, Voodoo is epic, but I don't think people really appreciated the full run through, and I'm guilty. Because my mother is she's a neo soul lover, and I would say, oh yeah, once your parents say something, it's in stone.
Of course.
So once I got, really into neo soul and my own love for music, okay, that stamp was approved. Like this album is just the epitome of neo soul.
Yeah.
100%. So that's why I chose this album. It's really dope. It's really, really dope.
No, I appreciate it. I really, really enjoyed this album. I've never listened to it front to back. When I was listening to it, it reminded me of like cleaning up on a Sunday, which was amazing.
For sure. Definitely.
So I definitely get the parent vibes, waking up early, getting right into work. I could see it.
Yeah. We had very different Sundays, but yeah, it's but yeah, no, so I'm a little bit more familiar, I guess, with D'Angelo because I'm a big fan of Brown Sugar.
Nice.
I think that's a very good album, but like in its own way, probably because neo soul is just not part of any of the R&B ish sector of genres that I listen to contemporarily, right? Like I'm not out here listening to like modern neo soul artists. I was kind of frozen in there. Like I heard Brown Sugar when I was like 18, 19, and then like I revisited every few years, and I'm like, this album's so good. But I like just never thought to listen to another D'Angelo album. Like, and I had heard like a couple of songs off of this. Like I've heard like The Root and Send It On before, but I had
Nice.
not heard the entire project in its entirety. And it is like a big different step in in a different direction than Brown Sugar. Brown Sugar is like very constructed and very tight. This is very, you said the word epic. I think that's a really great word to describe it. It's very large. It's very explorative.
And just like you said with Brown Sugar, your music sense change as you get older. So you say you listen to it when you were 18, 19. When you can keep going back to that same album and it's still hitting the right way, it's something there,
It's like rings on a tree is how I describe it, right? Where it's like you have like sedimentary layers of like meaning and like, because like, the test of time is the ultimate test. And as you keep going back to it, like my favorite song ever is Day and Night by Kid Cudi. And it's like, I listen to that song and it reminds me of my junior prom. It reminds me of like my first time working downtown. It reminds me of like rainy days. It reminds me of like all these different moments in my life because that's how long the song has been with me. Right. Jasper, what is your exposure to neo soul? Curious. Yeah, I'm very curious.
Yeah, I had heard some stuff off of this before. It's one of those, I didn't know that's what this was.
Yep.
My dad is very into neo soul. So, kind of the wild card, the 60-year-old white guy who is extremely into Thames, and he actually gave me something to bring with because I just stopped by his place on the way over here.
Okay.
He gave me something to bring today, which is his CD copy of this album.
Oh, that's fun.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's very fun.
So the back, we got the track list. We got some photography there. It's the original copy from 2000, printed in the U.S.
Insane.
That's sick.
And we got a little booklet here to go with it. Let me pull this.
Oh my god, I gotta see what's in the booklet. I hope it's
a little show and tell, right?
Probably, I'm gonna just guess pictures of D'Angelo without a shirt on. That's probably
which is always good.
You don't say. Yeah.
Very accurate.
Well, there's a lot going on in here.
Wow.
That's a wall of text right there.
God, I do just miss like the experience of a CD, right? Like,
you got shirtless pics with the lyrics to Playa Playa.
My favorite. That's wonderful.
Good. What else we got in here? We got more lyrics. Devil's Pie.
Dude, it's amazing that he kept that. I absolutely love
this. This is a great pull.
It's in great condition.
It's
in great condition.
Wonderful.
Chicken grease for you there. My parents still have a couple cabinets just full of CDs, and it's everything from like Bob Dylan to like the White Stripes to Chibo Motto to this to all over the place.
Damn.
Yeah, that just hit. I like that.
Yeah. So I have like
a rush opening my vinyls. I just like seeing that is even better. I love that.
So I have some familiarity through my dad. Pretty much, he introduced me to Thames back in like 2016, when I think it was when that first like I don't want to say debut, but one of the bigger albums had come out, or at least like a new project. Maybe it was like 2017. But that was kind of like my foray, and I don't know if it's necessarily qualifies as like the exact same in terms of genre, but that was kind of like my kickoff into that.
And I'll let the expert like correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like neo soul is a little bit more of a pretty broad genre.
It is. It's a blend of music. I mean, all type of music: soul, R&B, hip hop, jazz, funk, all of that mixed together with like introspective lyrics and organic and authentic, like unfiltered live instrumentals. Like it's all of that wrapped into one.
Yeah. I love the fact that you brought up live instrumentals because like that was the best part of the album to me. Like being a hip hop podcast, we listen to so many things that are constructed by a computer. Like actually hearing live music, it hit. It was It was a treat, honestly. I guess I should ask then, since we're talking about neo soul, like, what are the origins of neo soul? Like, do you know how it started? Are there any names that come up typically?
Of course. Well, we know like I said, it's unfiltered, authentic music of all these great genres that we love, right? So the start of this, the people who really was at the forefront of neo soul, and it's a list, so bear with me, but the greats, of course, we got Talib Kweli, we got Mos Def, we got Common, Jay Dilla, D'Angelo, of course, Q-Tip, Questlove, Pino Palladino, um, James Poison, Roy Hargrove, all these people, and not even all artists, just some record producers, some songwriters. These are what we call the Soquestrians, if you will.
Okay.
These were the people who were at the forefront of this authentic, unrestricted sound. And that's how neo soul, kind of made its way, to the forefront with the people who we love. Erica, that's a name. Then you have Common, all these different genres of music. All these people came together and just made it great.
Would you say it's almost more of a movement than a genre? Because it seems like
I would.
Yeah, because it seems like it's more of like a philosophy. Certainly, like our aesthetic similarities, right? But like it seems like more of a movement, and I think that's one of the things that makes it so interesting and intimidating, but also accessible, right? Because like it can seem like a lot when you're on the outside looking in, because it's like an entire cultural movement and tied to like these really strong identities at this really important time in history, like in like the late 90s, early 2000s, when everything was kind of turning over. But at the same time, like, because there is so many different sounds to like get your entryway in, there's a lot of different ways to get in, right? Like, because if you're someone who isn't going to be pulled in by a D'Angelo, you probably will be by a Talib Kweli or a Mos Def.
Exactly.
And
that's why I love it, because you can't really put it in a box. Anybody can really come in and put their own spin on what they think neo soul is, and it still fits within the genre or the movement.
Yeah.
It's so interesting because, like, even saying movement, when I listen to things like this, like, obviously it's not the same time period, but I think of like the Harlem Renaissance. Like, there really is like a cultural
it's an artistic
push
movement.
in
Yeah,
narrative.
it's like a whole thing that goes across mediums and genres and like affects everything from like paintings to poetry, right?
Literally,
Things that
yeah,
you'll
movies,
never
all that.
see like next to each other just by virtue of how we consume our art. Like, just never, I think that's like the thing that makes neo soul so interesting, is that like it's all these different things, and like the Harlem Renaissance, it's very identifiable.
Mhm.
Like you know it when you look at it, right? There is a certain kind of vibe that comes with neo soul that
For sure.
I feel like is almost like ineffable, but it's there, and I feel like everyone can see it. And it certainly is, different than like R&B. Obviously R&B is probably like very close, but like, I like a lot of the 90s R&B. I don't think a lot of that qualifies. I don't think Boys and Men qualifies as neo soul, right?
I think if you were to put R&B in there, you'll just have to say contemporary R&B.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
I went looking. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go finish, guys.
I was gonna say I went looking into that because I was trying to figure out where one genre began and where the other ended. Because to me, when I was listening, I said, okay, well, this feels super funk inspired, but also it's got all these other elements. It's got Method Man in there, things like that. So I went looking because I said, what's the difference between neo soul and R&B? And the internet told me that neo soul is technically like a subgenre that's characterized by like a few key things, including the fact that funk and jazz influences in there, live instrumentation, stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, there's different things like vocal cues or melodies that feel very R&B, like at their base level, but it's the layering of how it works with the other elements, at least I guess in my understanding, that makes it unique in that way.
No, I think that's a really spot on observation.
And that's why I thought Voodoo was the perfect album for us to go over today, because I think it embodies all of that. It's very unorthodox.
I agree. Now let's let's focus in on Voodoo a little bit. Like, tell us just like why you love this album, right? Like, what are some of your favorite songs? What are your favorite aspects? What's like a part of this album that you love that you don't think people talk about? Because I feel like everyone has that.
I think a lot of people when they're diving into albums sometimes, for me, when I hear an album or I hear a single on the album, I instantly go, okay, where can I get this? I love this single, so I know I'm going to love the album. I want to know how cohesive it is.
Yeah.
So, so some of my favorites from the album would be "Send It On," of course. That's the 4th single released on the Voodoo album. But "Send It On," "Left Right," "Left Right" with Method Man and Redman.
That was incredible.
That was so. It was amazing. And of course, the single "Untitled." That was the single on the album too, but it was actually the 3rd single released on this album, which is crazy.
Such a massive hit, just being
yes,
release.
And for it to just be the 3rd single, that was crazy. But I think the album overall is very cohesive. And to be honest, this was my first time listening to it all the way through, so I kind of appreciated it again. Yes.
Okay. Because that was actually going to be my question. Like, where were you in 2000? Were you listening to this as this came out?
No, I was not listening to. I think I was really kind of trying to, because I sing, so I was really trying to find out, my whole music sense of what I really liked. So neo soul, even though it was so popular in 2000, I won't say my age, but I wasn't there yet. I don't think I was mature enough to appreciate this type of music fully, but I knew I still liked something about it. So, I heard so much about Voodoo, and my mother was a neo soul lover, R&B. So I said, okay, you always say yourself, I'm gonna get around to it, I'm gonna listen to it, but I never did. But I still told people, like, if they gave me, give me a recommendation for an album, Voodoo. Even though I didn't listen to it, I just knew, like, it's a win-win. Like, it's a win-win.
No, it makes sense. Even when I was trying to do research into Voodoo itself, like, coming in as a novice and not knowing anything, I just searched like, oh, what is like the most famous neo soul like albums? Who are the most famous influencers? This was the first album. Like, it's hands down universally known that like you need to listen to this if you want to jump into the genre. And like, at least when I started, I don't know if I had the same impact. I knew Send It On already, and I knew Untitled. The rest of them, believe it or not, was just new to me. Had never heard the songs, but like, it was such a treat because this album runtime is at 1 hour and 18 minutes, but it's only 13 songs. It's averaging out at like 6 minutes a song, which is like insane in the streaming era.
Yeah,
it's much longer than what you
nowadays. That's nuts.
It's absolutely insane. It's double what you would normally consume nowadays, and like it gave me the ability to actually slow down and like enjoy the music. It felt like I was listening to like a tiny desk. Like, that's honestly how it felt. It was amazing.
That's what made me, I think, appreciate it more, because I noticed, I'm like, man, these songs aren't, that 4 minutes or longer. Yeah. So I'm like, it really made me appreciate, like, sit down, slow down, listen to it, and I just heard everything in it. It was great.
I get that.
No, yeah, it is. It's a fantastically dense album, but I feel like whenever you have like all that instrumentation, there is just like a lot. Like, I found myself, I was listening to, one of the times I listened through this was last night while I was cooking, and it was like, I found myself just like replaying, like, I left and right, which I had already heard, like I was aware of before we did decide to do this, and this was not even my first time listening to the album through for this episode, and it was like, oh, I gotta listen to this again, because it comes out of nowhere, and it really does like just come out of nowhere, because it hits you with this very hip hop sound, which is unlike anything from there's only 2 tracks before it, but like, it's unlike the first 2 tracks of the album, unlike anything I expected from Brown Sugar, right? Like, just like knowing that album as well as I do. And then you have Method Man and Redman show up, who you would think would maybe feel a little very like left field coming into this very melodic, soulful thing, but they don't. They feel absolutely lockstep in with the vibe, at least for me, especially Method Man, in my opinion. Right? Like, they were just like flowing on top of this. Yeah. And sometimes I feel like hip hop additions to an R&B or a soul album can be distracting, and this was just executed perfectly, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. That's one thing that I was noticing as well, especially in 2025, when you get the combination of hip hop and R&B. It's simply more focused on the hip hop side, where R&B will come in and do like the
Yeah.
chorus or something like that. This was a complete switch up. Like it actually focuses on the melody more. It focuses on the singing more, and like the other one can sing. Like I was very
He's
impressed.
crazy.
His range is insane. So I don't know. It was just I can't say how much I enjoyed this album. I really can't. Um, I guess one thing that I did want to ask them, because as this being the first time I listened to this, I haven't had the experience of going back several years. Do you feel like the message or the meaning of the album has changed as you've grown up?
Definitely. It's some things that I understand now that I couldn't understand then. Definitely.
No.
Just understanding the album and everything that he was trying to convey, I definitely I definitely think I can appreciate it now.
Yeah.
Way more. Yeah.
Do you think there's like, because another topic I wanted to go into is just like where neo soul is today. I feel like I don't hear a lot of neo soul. At least I just don't consume it. I could just be ignorant, and I will be open to accepting that. But I don't know like who's representing neo soul right now, and does it have a place in 2025? Because you need
so many people,
Right.
Okay.
I feel like, see, I immediately thought that like neo soul was going to be kind of similar to punk, right? Like everyone is like, I haven't heard pop punk music. Like they don't make that kind of music anymore. And it's like, I go to Riot Fest every year. Yes, they do.
They do make it, yeah.
But it's because I'm plugged in, right? Like if you're not the kind of person who knows what Turnstile is, you're not going to know, right? The same way that if you're not the kind of person who doesn't know who D'Angelo is, you're probably not going to know, right?
Right.
And but at the same time, like I'm also completely like probably the closest thing to neo soul I listen to now, like that like contemporaneously is like Ari Lennox, and she's great. I don't know if she is strictly in that lane, but yeah,
See, what's so crazy is I started watching Ari Lennox on like YouTube, and I follow her when she didn't even have her artist name, and I think that's what made me appreciate and really dive into neo soul. So it's crazy that you said that this specific artist really made me appreciate myself as an artist and really appreciate neo soul as a genre. Mm-hmm. So like when it comes to like what's next for neo soul, I think a lot of people are so I don't know, I think they're kind of trendy, you know, whatever comes on the radio and I like it, that's what I listen to. But I think when it comes to neo soul and appreciating the actual genre, I think you may have to, dive a little deep and figure out who's got that juice, if you will,
Yeah, who's got the juice?
So,
you're not going to hear it on TikTok. Like, you got to actually sit down and find the artist.
Yeah.
It's so many. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, it's just so many. I can give you a list, like, right off my head. It's so many artists who are just, underrated. Underrated, and if you don't really appreciate the genre, you won't really find them, So, so many. Like, so I don't know if you guys have heard of him. His name is Samo.
No.
So Samoht. This is someone who has that juice, like he said, that juice. Yeah. But he brings more of a spiritual and then contemporary R&B, but he sings down. You hear me?
No. His last album is called Amore, so I believe it.
He sings really, really well. And he just puts all his background in there. I dive deep, but someone who really is at the forefront of their neo soul game and getting a lot of buzz right now is Duran. I don't know if you guys heard of him, Duran Bernard.
No, this is all new to me, which is great because I love new stuff.
You know what I mean? He's great. He's making he's making heads turn. He's doing a lot of tributes. He's doing a lot of awards. He just released a new album actually, but when I get to my recommendations, I think that's someone you really, really might want to check out. I think you guys would appreciate it.
How do you spell it?
Duran, Durand. and then Bernard, Benarr.
Okay. No, yeah, I'm gonna have to tap into this. Is he on Spotify?
Yes,
Okay.
should be.
So who's like? Because don't get me wrong, I love finding artists that I slept on. Who are the big names? Like who will be on the forefront representing the genre?
Okay, so Samo, like I just told you,
Yeah.
Okay.
Duran, and some of the we'll say, Leon Thomas. We got the
Ooh,
October Londons, of course.
Okay.
But have you guys ever heard of Moo Fresh?
Fresh. I
Nope.
haven't.
Nope. That I would have remembered that name because it's a fun name.
Right. She's really dope. I found her just, breezing the genre. She has a tiny desk. And you guys might appreciate it because she's actually a rapper and a singer.
Okay.
So she's thank me later. She's very, very dope, very underrated. She just actually released the album late last year, but it's really good. So I think those names Yeba, Yebba.
Know that, yeah.
Yeah.
Know that. Okay.
So like I'm really into to big singers, people who really, Liana Lahavis. I hope I said that right. I hope I didn't torture that.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are the big names that I think big names to me, but maybe people wouldn't know, but they're definitely gonna make their way either way because they're dope.
Can you explain your music diet? Like how do you find music and like what do you consume on a daily basis?
My secrets. Yeah.
You gotta put us on.
But of course we have, I always have Duran in rotation because he's doing a lot of tours, so I always like to, go to the concerts, up to date rather. But Duran is always in rotation, and I'm really trying to get into October London. Like I told you, Moo Fresh just released an album, so I kind of I'm backed up a little bit, but they definitely stay in rotation. Duran, he has a new album called Dur that I have to get into. The things that you can't stop listening to, like Yeba, Her Tiny Desk. I think they came out 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still dope. It's still in rotation for me. And August Green, I'm actually getting into that. It's Common, Brandy.
Okay.
So yeah, all my old stuff is still in rotation. But the way I find music, so of course they're always gonna give you recommendations on what you already listened to anyway. So I kind of go off of that, and I randomly find music that way. Of course, we have all these avenues. We have TikTok, we have Facebook, to find music. So I just I get into just like a tunnel and just find them randomly, to be honest.
I think it just comes down to like, for lack of a better phrase, just like courage. I don't know. It's just like the willing to be like, hear a song and be like, oh, I'm actually going to like go seek that out. Right. I feel like it's just so easy to just let it pass you by and then continue like on your old media diet and like on your music diet. And like, I could chalk this up to the internet era, but this is a habit a lot of people have had a lot longer than streaming has been around. And I think it really just kind of has to have like the boldness to just, like, you just have to have like the boldness to like go out and seek it. And it's also like, understanding the circles you're in and how you can, expand them to find the artists you want to find.
Right. It's just like a movie. You read the synopsis, you're like, I'll try it out. You're just taking a risk, but once you try it out, you hear it. As soon as I hear a song that I like, okay, what album is this on? Do they have an album? Do they have an EP? And I just kind of go from there.
So I want to ask you a quick question about like about the music discovery process and like how this might tie into neo soul, because like as I see it, it feels like this corner of like just popular music, if you will, is kind of the pinnacle of where you're going to see like singing performances now, unless like you're talking about Broadway, right? Which is a very specific context, right? And I heard that you're also a singer. And my question for you is, we always talk a lot about how different people like are going into music looking for different things. And is performance like the top priority? Not like priority, because it's all important, right? Like someone being a good singer and singing good lyrics and having good music behind them, and then all that being mixed well and balanced right. That's all of it's important. But like, what is the thing that like grabs you? Is it like the singing? Is it like the themes? Is it like specific lyricism?
It's neo soul. It's everything wrapped into one for me.
Yeah.
When I hear a song, now I have a crazy process because once I hear a song, if it's new to me, depending on the first way I hear it, that's the way I know it.
Okay.
So if I'm hearing this song for the first time and I hear it live, that version is immediately stuck in my head. So for me, once I hear a song, I guess I'm looking for the singing, that's what catches your attention.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. But I'm looking for the way it's sung, if that makes, and I want to make this make sense. I really want to make sense when I say this. The way it's sung, I really appreciate tempo changes, harmonies. I just really, my ears just really breaks it down as soon as I hear it.
Oh, wow.
So it's a mixture of the instruments, the tempos, the everything, the notes, the way they're sung. Like I instantly my ear just deciphers it as soon as I hear it.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
I think that makes total sense, right? Because like it all is about like what's that first impression. Because like to me it's always lyrics and words, right? Even when I'm listening to like music that isn't hip hop, where like that's like obviously like the tip of like the pyramid, right? Like that is always gonna be the thing that like pulls me through. If not like the words themselves, then like the performance of them. And it does just. It seems like neo soul is just like very rich. It seems like it's very fertile. Like if you're looking for a lot of different things, you can find it in this section, right? Yeah. Like something that I don't know if anyone here is even qualified to speak about, but like listening to this, I could just notice that there was some crazy drum work, like all over this album, right? And like I'm sure if we had like my buddy Deaver here who plays drums, he could totally break down of like why this is so crazy. But like, there's just like a lot there. Like I remember from Brown Sugar, the thing that really pulled me were the bass lines because I was playing bass at the time, and it was just so well done. Like all the insane bass lines on this album, and this one, it does just feel like the instrumentals are just so much more even cohesive, right? Like they just feels like this fully formed idea, right? And it's just it is insane how well he was able to pull this together, especially considering the fact that D'Angelo produced every track.
Yep,
that's extremely impressive.
Yeah,
and like for me,
it's nuts, right? Like when someone does this in hip hop, we call him J. Cole. Like,
yeah, actually, though. And I was gonna say the thing that pulls me up because like. To answer the same question, for me, it is the beats. And that's for like every genre that I listen to the music first. And I'm going to be honest, the first time going through this, wasn't even thinking about like the lyrics. I wasn't pulling up the lyrics. I had never put up the lyrics. Anytime we do a deep dive on an album on this show, I get at least one listen in if I can to pull up lyrics. I'd never put up lyrics for this album because I just didn't need it. The music alone kind of flows into it, and the beat selection and the live music that goes into it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I think it is a vibe.
It is a vibe. And I think like that is like the magic of like this section is that there is some pretty poetic, lyrical, really important, I don't want to say like important, but really substantial stuff in the lyrics on this album. Right? Like I totally understand your experience, Purvis. Like I get it because like that was even as a lyric first listener myself, like I wasn't thinking about it the first time I listened to this album either. Like,
right.
But like, I do just, to me, it almost feels like a pity that like, this man, like D'Angelo wrote such great lyrics to accompany such great music. And like people are, because it is like so well produced in every other capacity as well. It feels like that's something that has a tendency to get ignored. But I also did not look up the lyrics. Like I say all this having not read the lyrics while I listened to this album this week either. Right. And I listened to this album more than I usually listen to albums in preparation for a show. Like,
I guess one thing I would ask then, and as we're coming kind of towards the end of this, how do we expand neo-soul? Like, how do you even make it bigger? How do you get other people to tap into neo-soul?
Well, you come and you tap into Mouse House on 290, right?
Like the plug.
You just go ahead.
I mean, I think it's great that neo-soul is like, I don't want to say like gatekept because like there's no gatekeeping. You just listen to an album,
right?
But like, I do like that the fact that it is like a thing, right? It hasn't hit the critical mass that makes all music genres lose their identity. Right.
That part,
like I think if neo soul has anything, and it has a lot going for it, is that it has a very strong identity.
Stays to its character. Yeah.
Do we want to like just go through like our favorite moments from the album real quick, or because I think we all agree that Left and Right is just insane, an insane track. I got
Left and Right was the second single, so I feel like I missed out. Like, man, where was I when that single hit? Like,
I wish I was 18 when Left and Right was on the radio stations. I wish
was
instead,
4 or 5 doing nothing.
Instead I was. How old was I? I was 8. Like,
and I wasn't doing anything.
I was really in the Beyblades. Like,
I think I was in preschool, maybe. Like,
yeah. Oh my God.
There's 6 verses in that song. 6.
Give me 3 more. Give me 9. Where's the JID remix?
And it's somehow still the shortest song on the album.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. But like, because there's another album that we will talk about later that was like within like 10 minutes of the length of this, and this album just feels so much breezier. Like, I feel like for certain genres, especially genres that are so performance and instrumental focused, like I feel like the longer songs actually make them feel breezier, not longer, right? And listen, I've listened to a lot of like really bad metal albums, like that's not always the case, but for something as expertly well done as this, to me, I feel like the longer songs, like, because like Play is 7 minutes long, but it's so good. Like just like the melodies and everything is just so rich that like
that's what I wanted to ask you guys. Like, Play 7 minutes, the first song. Like, what did it? I actually thought you guys were just like, oh man, this is just because it gave that like grand Louisiana feel,
Yeah. I love it. I love a strong introduction. Like,
yes.
Like, I feel like when you listen to the first song of an album, that song should be like a thesis for the entire album, right?
I agree.
And Play, I think, is a great example of that, right?
Yep.
And like, ultimately is one of my favorite songs on the album. Maybe not, but I think it's an excellent introduction. And to me, like, the length is like a non-issue. Right, just because like it is just so noodly and it is just so groovy, it like just kind of like melts away, right? Like, I listened to this song maybe 4 or 5 times this week, and not once was I ever like, oh, this is a really long song, even though it is a very long song, right? Like, we're not just old when we think 7 minutes is a long song. Like, that was a long song in the 90s. Like,
it is.
Like,
once I played it like twice, it was like, okay, the first time I heard it, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is 7 minutes, but it's a good 7 minutes. Yeah. But once I started like playing it back to back, it's just like, okay, this is 7 minutes where like this is just too good.
Yeah. And I think Untitled is also like has like a very similar thing going on. Like, if anything, like, I think it's some of the shorter songs that kind of, not even shorter, but like Send It On, as good as it is, and I do love that song. That song, I feel like I feel the length just a little bit more. That's not necessarily a problem, but it doesn't just melt away the way it does on Untitled and Playa for me. But that's just who that was just me. That's just what I experienced.
So I wanted to ask you guys, how do you feel about the Spanish joint?
I liked it.
Yeah.
Always.
I was really about
It's
to bring that up.
real different. So I really want to know how you guys feel about it.
It was not what I expected because that's what my Sunday sounded like. I knew it was time to clean when there was music in Spanish. And you know, I know this isn't exactly that, but it was a nice switch up, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was definitely unexpected, but it worked.
Unexpected, but I do feel like it does fit really smooth. Right? Like, I think the first time I listened to this album, it didn't even call out attention to me.
Yeah.
Right?
Not even in a bad way. It's just, even in Spanish joint, it has a good 30 seconds or something where there's no words. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be.
Exactly.
Just vibing up the music.
I definitely thought we were just getting an instrumental, but then they came in and I'm like, okay, here it is. Here's the good stuff.
Yep, it comes in eventually. I just love the fact that how easily it flows, because I know you brought up Untitled. The song doesn't actually end; they just cut it off. Like, like on Spotify, it doesn't actually end. They just eventually was like, "All right, that's enough." I think we got to.
It just fades
That
out.
happened to me. When I heard it the first time, I thought that my music was stopped because somebody was calling me. So I like picked up my phone at work and was like, "What?" And then the next song kicks in. It's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
Like super abrupt.
I love it. And I know it's going to sound crazy. Hearing live music like this, I've said it before on the podcast, it reminds me of church a little bit. And so it feels like home. It does.
It does. And I'm rooted in that background. So I think that's why, when I hear live performances or when I hear albums like this, it's so homey. It has a place in my heart.
Yeah. It feels like a warm home that you're walking into.
No.
Yeah, definitely.
Grandma's crib.
Exactly. God, it's just so good. And, I think it doesn't overstay its welcome. I think it's a great number of tracks, Honestly, like, I could just go on and on about this album. It's a classic for a reason.
Right.
We're talking about this album 20. Say that again?
Is he active? Does he actively make music? Is he featured in anything?
I know he went away for a long time, but I think he came back. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he had a hiatus. Not even a hiatus, I want to say, because it was by choice. Okay. I think he chose his artistry over commercial. So I think he was just pretty much touring and doing some features and some solo stuff here and there. Then he came out with Black Messiah in 2014.
Yeah, that was, and I remember that being a big deal. Yeah, he also made a song for Red Dead Redemption 2.
Ooh.
Oh, really? No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Hold on a minute.
Yeah, but I remember Black Messiah being a big deal, and I remember like people really talking about, because he came back and did a bunch of tours around that time. I remember it being a real big deal because he looked way different and everything, but apparently he was still excellent. I think he's still touring. I don't know if he's putting out more albums.
Okay.
Well, we're hoping. I hope he's putting out more albums.
I mean,
but Black Messiah is definitely. Go ahead.
I'm hoping too. I don't know.
I was gonna say, I feel like he comes from a generation. He doesn't really have a social media platform, does he? So, like, how does he connect to his fans? I genuinely don't know.
I think just by being D'Angelo, right? It's like,
who I am.
If your abs are defined enough, the fans will find you.
Definitely.
That is very true. And to be honest, if you're a big fan with them and you grew up with them, you come from that time period where you do search the artist. It's not in your pocket all the time. So
yeah,
just randomly you'll sit and be like, I wonder what D'Angelo's doing. Let me type his name in.
Speak for yourself, Purvis. I keep that motherfucking thing on me.
Nobody walks around.
I would never take that out of my car. That would be my emergency phone broken album. Like,
if I got in a car accident, that's the only thing coming with me. Like,
it goes in the 6-disc changer that's like in the trunk for some reason and not actually in the.
God, I never understood why they did that.
Yeah, why was it in the trunk? It never made sense.
My dad had a 2001 Volkswagen Passat where the changer was in the trunk, and I can guarantee you that that's where I heard this growing up on the way to school, because he would never change that shit out.
Wow.
As used to have a red Nissan that had a. Oh man, I miss that car.
Oh my god.
But yeah, good times. Maybe we'll bring back CDs. Everyone's into vinyls. We need to bring back CDs.
I don't know what else to do. Like, if I need an album, I'm going to look for the CD, and I guess I'm outdated because I don't know where to get it other than that. I mean, I want to own it. I want to see the book. I want to open it. I want to read. You know.
So
Yeah.
I have to ask them because we are coming towards the end. I want to get more of your personality on the podcast. You
Okay.
just mentioned you have CDs and you want to reference them. What's the top 3 CDs that you own?
No pressure at all, right?
None.
This is important.
We have Whitney Houston's first album, of course.
Okay.
We have The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Great picks.
And we have Jill Scott's first album, my first neo soul album. Was I ready for it when I got it? No, but I got it.
Okay.
That's what matters.
I like that.
Okay, I gotta bring this up because I just need to know Tia's reaction. But it's news. It's news from this week. It's like a breaking news item.
Okay.
Erykah Badu is back. So
She is.
She's dropping a new album, and I don't know if you know who The Alchemist is. Like,
he's very important.
He's like he's a favorite of me, Purvis's, and the entire podcast. He's one of our favorite hip hop producers. He's made Freddie Gibbs albums, West Side Gun albums. He's worked with pretty much any hip hop artist you could think of, and he is
Really?
he is the sole producer on this new Erykah Badu project, which is interesting.
Soon. Yes.
Yeah, it's because like low key, like you're like talking about 2 generational talents, people who are like literally top 3 at what they do. But would I have ever thought to put Erykah Badu and The Alchemist together, right? Like,
who knew? They're cooking. I don't know what they're cooking, but I'm here for it.
She's dope. She's unpredictable, and that's what makes neo soul so dope. Whatever you want, hip hop, that whatever you want, it goes together.
you can bring whoever you want into it. Like it really is as simple as that. All they need to do is kind of have the same, kind of swim in the same culture, and then like really there is no. Because, like, on one hand, I'm thinking, like, what would an Alchemist Erykah Badu project sound like? But then I bet, like, as soon as I turn it on, it's going to be like, oh, of course it's going to sound like that. There's going to be a sample, and it's going to be slow, and she's going to sing really pretty. Like,
and I might cry. Like,
yeah, I'll probably cry.
Okay, so one thing that we always end off with guests, and very quick to mention, now that we did bring that up, if we like the album, you're coming back on to review it, just so you know.
Oh,
the Erykah Badu project?
Yes. If we enjoy it, we should have you back on.
We'll do
but
that.
we always do this with our guests. If you were to leave one statement, one word of advice, anything to our listeners, what would you say?
When it pertains to neo soul?
Anything you want. It could be neo soul.
I would just say, don't listen to what's trendy. Don't listen to what everyone else likes. Find what touches you and roll with it. Find what you like, even if it's even within your circle, your home, your family, even if they don't listen to it, if it touches you in some way, rock with it.
Okay.
I love that.
I like that.
I think we need more people just loving what they love. Just like,
exactly.
You know, like, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'll do our recommendation. So what we typically do is we all go around, right? So give one, and then we'll all go around, and then you'll give your second, and we'll all give our second. Do you want to start us off, guest of honor?
Sure, absolutely. Ladies first. Thank you guys so much for having me. So I'm gonna do a recommendation. I don't want to butcher this name, but I know I will. It's Kamayu
Okay.
And it's a song called Mango featuring Adi Oasis. So Kamayu, Kamau. The name of the song is Mango.
Okay.
This is check it out. It's really good. I don't want to hold you. It's really good.
Rachel
And
listens to
okay, so
Kamayu.
Yeah. But do one at a time. Hold on. Brandon
Okay.
and Jasper, please look up Kamayu and look at the photo on Instagram.
Oh,
You gotta go.
A-A-A-U-U. Not Instagram. I'm sorry, on Spotify.
oh, okay, good, because I'm already on Spotify looking at them. There we go.
Kamau. Look,
Amazing. Looks like the
I love
Scorpion
it.
King.
Honestly, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
A lion with an afro? Sign me up.
Yeah.
All right. Can I go
like
next?
the vibe. Yes.
Okay, so mine, my first pick is absolutely based on current events, based on someone's specific crash out that happened on Twitter this week. I'm recommending "False Prophets" by J. Cole.
Nice. I love that. Oh,
He was the
Kanye.
first,
What are we
man.
gonna do
He
with
saw
this?
through it real early.
He saw through it real early. He did. And the latest was Carti. The timeline that we're in.
Got civil war between white teenagers who sell Supreme in their lunchroom.
They're the last ones. They're the last Kanye fans. They're holding strong. I'll go. My first one, McGue, Girl with a Tattoo. Absolutely phenomenal song. Phenomenal album. Highly recommend listening to it.
Jasper?
Are you muted? You forgot.
Oh yeah, I am muted. My bad. I'm gonna go with "Self Care" by Mac Miller.
That song's
Phenomenal
so good.
song. Even
Classic.
better music video.
Such a
Wait,
good
Self Care by who?
Mac Miller.
Miller.
Gotcha.
That whole album hits.
That's
whole
That's my
album
favorite.
is
That's
very
my
good.
favorite Mac Miller album. Yeah.
Great pick. All right, Tia, what's your second one?
Okay, decision. I guess my second one would be Moo Fresh.
Okay.
It'll be her Tiny Desk. I really want you guys to appreciate a female lyricist.
Mm.
Not saying that you don't, but who's also in the neo soul genre. So check out her Tiny Desk. It's dope.
I'll watch that while I eat my dinner later.
Yes.
Gonna say my next pick is gonna be Doechii just off that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Is it Brandon?
I think it is. Yeah. Hold on. I got it written down. Okay. My next one is a very silly one. And we're going with an obscure Man on the Moon, Kid Cudi era song. I'm recommending That Tree. It's by Snoop Dogg featuring Kid Cudi. It's just a weed smoking song that I play every year when the weather turns nice.
Everyone needs one of
And
those.
it is just very vintage Man on the Moon era Kid Cudi. Jasper, I know you don't smoke, but if you listen to this song, I guarantee you're gonna enjoy this hook a lot.
Yeah.
And the music video is hilarious. It's like when Kid Cudi's super young and they're pretending to be Cheech and Chong. It's very funny.
Oh, dope.
That's pretty good.
You actually mentioned it earlier, Tia, but I'm going to recommend Brandy. I dedicate part 2. Absolutely phenomenal song. One of the best samples ever played into like hip hop music that's transferred over to hip hop. I love it. Absolutely phenomenal.
I think you guys are newfound neo soul lovers.
Yes.
Okay.
We're tapping in.
Almost too much.
I'm gonna take over my life again. All right, Jasper. Send us
My
home.
second song is coming from a place of disappointment because the new Carti album is, spoiler alert, it's not good. A song that I do like by Playboy Carti, Location.
Okay, yeah. I respect that. Not bad. Okay, well, Thea, thank you for coming on. Thank you for
having me.
Yes. We'll make sure to share any social media that you want us to put out there.
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. I had fun.
Of course. We'll come back to review the Erica album. It'll be great. Like we need a network. Like
Yes.
Whoa.
And when you start your podcast, we are expected to be guests, just so you know.
yes.
Oh, absolutely. Of course. I wouldn't have it any other way. This was cool. I appreciate it.
Dude.
I am going to listen to everyone's suggestions and I'll be bugging you soon, so don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay.
You heard
bye.
from me.
And do we get to eat wings with mild sauce when we come on the podcast?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Of course.
Dude, I need 5 wings with some mild sauce. Bad. It's been a minute. Okay.
It took a while to come up with it took a while.
That's a good
It's a
one.
good
That's a
name.
good name. As a podcast with a very good name, I feel it's a very good name. Like,
Yeah.
I'm here for it.